All right, let's do this. Welcome to the final lightning round to get you prepped and ready for the SAA-C03 exam. We're not doing long explanations here. This is all about a rapid-fire drill to make sure that knowledge is sharp. Okay, let's jump right in. This is it. This is the battlefield. These 4 domains are exactly where you're going to rack up the points. We're going to hit every single one with some quick questions to make sure you are ready for whatever this exam decides to throw at you. First up, secure architectures. This is the biggest slice of the pie, coming in at 30%. So these questions are absolutely critical. You ready? Let's go. Okay, question 1. You have to rotate API keys, and you need to do it automatically. Think about managing credentials. Think about security best practices. What's the go-to AWS service for handling this? And the answer is AWS Secrets Manager with a custom Lambda rotation function. That combo is pure gold for the exam. Secrets Manager is built for exactly this, and it uses Lambda to handle the actual rotation.
All right, here's a classic CloudFront and S3 setup. You're not just giving access to one file, but a whole bunch of private objects at the same time. How do you pull that off without making a separate URL for every single file?
And that's it. Use CloudFront signed cookies. This is one of those key distinctions you have to know. Signed URLs are for one-off access to a single file. Signed cookies let you grant access to multiple files. It's a critical difference.
All right, next up, resilient architectures. This whole section is about availability, durability, and just making sure your application doesn't fall over when something goes wrong.
This is a classic RDS question. When you set up a multi-AZ deployment, what is the single #1 primary benefit you get? The exam loves to try and trick you with other features, so really focus on its core purpose.
The answer is automatic failover for high availability. That's it. Remember, that standby instance is just sitting there waiting. It doesn't serve read traffic. That's what read replicas are for. Do not fall into that trap.
Okay, think through this scenario. You've got to do some surgery on one EC2 instance inside an autoscaling group. How do you pull it out of rotation to work on it without the autoscaling group seeing it as unhealthy and terminating it? What's that specific state you need to use?
What you're going to do is place that instance in the standby state. This basically tells the autoscaling group, hey, just ignore this one for a bit, I'm working on it. You can do your maintenance safely and then put it right back into the in-service state.
Okay, this one is non-negotiable. You absolutely have to know this cold. This has changed over the years, so make sure you know the current answer.
And there it is. S3 provides strong read-after-write consistency for everything. That old eventual consistency for overwrites and deletes, it's history. It's outdated. It's wrong. Strong consistency is the rule now.
All right, let's shift gears to high-performing architectures. This is where we talk about making things fast, efficient, and picking the absolute best tool for the job.
The classic showdown, security groups versus network ACLs. You will almost definitely see this. What are the key differences? Think about statefulness and where in the VPC they actually operate.
So here's the breakdown. Security groups are stateful firewalls right at the instance level. It's like a bouncer who remembers you. If you're allowed in, you're automatically allowed out. Network ACLs are stateless at the subnet level. They have no memory, so you have to explicitly create rules for traffic going both in and out.
So your RDS database is getting hammered with reads, and it just can't keep up. What are your 3 main moves to scale out that read traffic and give it some breathing room?
Here's your playbook. First, add read replicas to offload those queries. Second, and often a great choice, is to put a caching layer like Elasticache in front of it for the most common requests. And third, for really massive scale, you can shard the database, splitting the data across multiple instances.
Okay, getting into the weeds a little bit. For a Lambda function to do its job and write logs, its IAM execution role needs some very specific permissions. What are those 3 essential API actions?
It needs these 3 permissions. It needs to create log group, then create log stream, and finally put log events. Think of it like this. It needs permission to create the folder, then create the file inside the folder, and then actually write in that file.
All right, let's talk about saving money. I mean, every architect has to think about the final bill, right? So let's drill on cost-optimized architectures.
The key phrase here is most cost-effective. How do you get private connectivity from your VPC to S3 and DynamoDB in the absolute cheapest way possible? The answer is gateway VPC endpoints. And why?
Because they are free. This is a huge point to remember. Interface endpoints, which use private link, have an hourly cost and data processing fees. Gateway endpoints for S3 and DynamoDB do not.
Okay, a straight-up numbers question for you. What is the biggest possible discount you can get by using EC2 Spot instances instead of just regular on-demand pricing?
A whopping 90%. So anytime you see an exam question that talks about workloads that can handle interruptions, like batch processing, big data analysis, that kind of thing, your brain should immediately just scream Spot instances.
Okay, so we've drilled the knowledge, we've hammered the what. Now let's talk about the how. How do you actually approach the questions to beat the exam on test day?
You need to become a keyword detective. The questions give you these giant clues. If you see lowest latency, you should be thinking performance. If it says most cost-effective, you know it's a cost question. And my favorite one, least operational overhead, is almost always a dead giveaway for a managed service or something serverless like Lambda.
And listen, this might be the most important piece of advice I can give you. Do not overthink it. Seriously, you have done the work. Your gut instinct is usually the right one. Eliminate the obvious wrong answers, pick the best of what's left, and trust your prep.
All right, that's a wrap. You've done the prep, you've done the drills. You are ready for this. Just take a deep breath, read every question carefully, and go crush that exam. Good luck.